What's up, everybody? It's your girl, who is in fact Dat Aspie. This weekend was alright. It was a good thing, and some good stuff happened, some not so great stuff happened. I'm gonna be talking about, I guess, something. I don't know. Fun fact, I actually recorded something for this video like a couple days ago, at least a couple days ago by the time I'm recording this, and tried to put it in my computer, and then all of a sudden it just disappeared as I tried to figure out how to fix that. So, hey, this is like take two of this, so yay. Also, before I go into what I'm going to be talking about this time, I just want to give a quick update of my life. So, last video I posted, I mentioned something about a film shoot that was going to be, I was going to start working on it at the end of this month and possibly into August and yada yada yada. So, since then, I have found out that they postponed to August due to budgeting reasons because, independent film struggles, which is understandable. And then, as of this morning, as in the morning that I'm recording this, like way earlier today, I found out that the project is being put on an indefinite hiatus, as the director put it, because, again, budgeting reasons, particularly because losing the primary funding. So, yeah, that's kind of a bummer, but honestly, what can you do? And also, the director was not willing to compromise too much in budget in order to not give his vision, so I can respect him for that. So, I have no hard feelings about it. I'm just a little bummed about the situation. I was really looking forward to doing this. Hopefully it'll be brought up again at some point in the future because it's really good stuff, so I'm really hoping that this could be a thing. Anywho, other than that, I went to a going away party last night for a friend who was moving to Vermont. It was pretty cool. The venue was really neat, live music, ping pong. I brought my chess set to play with some peoples, and it was fun. It was a good time. And then today was just a rough start, but a good day of working otherwise. So it got progressively better as the day went on. So, I was happy about that. I was hoping that it would be a good day, especially with the news of the film shoot, and just in general having a rough start. But yeah, I did it. It was good, and I had a lot of fun. So the main thing I was going to talk about in this video is that I got a new tattoo. Look at that. It's still a little sore. It's still a little tender. I got this as of recording this about 3 days ago. So it's Monday, and I got it on Friday evening. But I love how it came out. It's so good. Look at that. I adore it. And I was also going to talk about the other tattoo that I have, this one right here. The first one I got, this one, the semicolon one right here, I got that one back in January, and that one was my first tattoo. The reason why I got it was partly because of the semicolon project, if you remember that being a thing for the past few years. I figured that if I was going to get my first tattoo, I might as well be something that I resonate with very deeply. In case you have no idea what the semicolon project is, in the English grammar, a semicolon is used when the writer could have finished a thought or some train of dialogue or something, and could have ended it with a period, but decided instead to continue the thought, and it's kind of like where in a comma you take a breath. The semicolon is the same idea, and you continue on with what's happening. There's a parallel with this between that meaning in English grammar and when people go through depression and things like that and think that, ending their life is the only viable option because they want to end the suffering. But instead of going through with that, they decide to trek through it and do what they need to do to continue on instead of stopping. So it's kind of like we take a pause and then mull things over and then move through it. And I think that's a really cool thing. Another neat thing about it is that it's a conversation starter if you have it tattooed on you, because people might be asking, why the hell do you have a semicolon tattooed on you? And then you can explain that sort of parallel. I think it's really cool. And the reason why I got the splatter design was because I saw a couple of designs that I really liked and I wanted to combine the two, but I also allowed a lot of creative freedom with the tattoo artist that life is messy, it's not perfect, and I wanted that to reflect in there. And I think it came out really successful, so I'm very happy with the results. On the same note of life being messy, actually, is partly how I got the design idea for this one. So, in case you have no idea what this is on my other wrist, it is the infinity sign stenciled into a rainbow splattering of paint. Like, it's full spectrum of rainbow. Now, oddly enough, it is appropriate to get something with a rainbow on it during Pride Month, but that's not why I got it at all. Actually, if I was going to have any flag of Pride anywhere on my body, maybe not tattooed, but somewhere, like just drawn on or whatever, it'd be the pansexual flag. I mean, come on. Also, if I got the regular Pride flag, I probably would have added the black and brown stripe because, queer people of color exist. But that's beside the point. This is actually the neurodiversity symbol. And what that means is that neurodiversity is a spectrum of where your mental health might be. The closest analogy I can think of to the neurodiversity symbol is that if you remember the puzzle piece symbol that a lot of autism organizations use, I don't really like that. The problem with that is that it tends to suggest that people on the spectrum are a puzzle to solve, or like there's a piece of them missing, stupid shit like that. A lot of the reason for that puzzle analogy is because of Autism Speaks, which is problematic in its own, and that's something I'll get into another time. But recently, the infinity symbol with a rainbow on it, or at least somewhat of a rainbow, has been adopted, I guess is the best word. And personally, I like that a lot better because it feels a lot more inclusive of not just people on the autism spectrum, but of various mental health and disabilities and shit like that. And yeah, I also decided on a messy paint splatter because, again, life is fucking messy. Especially if you're not a neurotypical human. So, yeah. Again, it's something that resonates very deeply with me, so I figured, fuck it, why not? And before anyone starts asking me, but Laura, what are they gonna look like when you're 80? But Laura, don't you want to be careful about tattoos because you might not get acting work? But Laura, what if you want them removed? Okay, first of all, when I'm 80 and I have ink on my skin that is, in a sense, a canvas, I would have been happy to have done it rather than regret not doing it. Second of all, having tattoos as an actor, yes, that might deter some people from casting me, I know, but so does having an edgy haircut sometimes. However, I am very aware of what my casting type is, and I probably would not submit myself for, girl next door roles. That's not me. I'm also not being cast as like the manic pixie dream girl blah that Zoe Deschanel does, because that's not me, as an actor and a human. Not that I can't play characters, it's just that's not the type of roles I would typically be cast in. I tend to be cast in more edgy roles anyway, like alternative stuff or independent films that happen to be a little bit more open to this kind of shit, so, And there are some things in the acting industry that I think really need to change. I mean, I completely understand that, especially in film, it's a bit of an image-driven industry. Sometimes a little bit more than talent in some cases. But makeup artists exist, like me, that can cover up tattoos. It is entirely possible. Also, with the technologies we have nowadays, you can fix it in post, as much as people hate that expression. And there's also Photoshop if it's still images, so what's the big deal? So, if you're not willing to hire a makeup artist to help you cover tattoos as well as do the makeup, then what are you doing? I also understand not wanting to go through the extra effort, believe me, I know, but it's worth it sometimes, And lastly, if I had any ounce of regret, either now or potentially in the future, I would not have gotten these tattooed. I'm someone that is very thorough with thinking about these sorts of things, and I did put a lot of thought in both of these, believe it or not. So, yeah, I fully understand that they are permanent, and if I did get them removed, yes, laser tattoo removal is a thing. But I highly doubt that I would do that. Like, very, 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 very highly doubt. I don't think that's gonna happen. So, yeah, that's my take on that. But I'm really happy that I got them, so I think it was totally worth it. Oddly enough, getting this one actually hurt a bit more than I anticipated, and more than getting the first one, but honestly, it wasn't anything unbearable. So, in case any of you guys are thinking about getting your own tattoo, I say give it a shot. I did hear that bones, anywhere that's bony, kind of sucks, which is kind of true. Anything that requires filling in also kind of sucks, especially with watercolor because the technique is a little different, but totally worth it. Especially if it's a tattoo of something that's important to you. So, if you're thinking about getting a tattoo, that's up to you. It's your body. You do whatever the fuck you want. Don't let your parents, don't let your friends or certain job prospects, stop you from doing that. Tattoo acceptance is a thing that, is making a lot of progress, but there's still a lot of work to do. I mean, there are some tattoos that is just like, why the fuck did you get that on yourself? But that's another story. Other than that, I guess that's all I got. I'm honestly pretty tired. I worked a 10-hour day. A fun day, but it was long. I also woke up at 6 in the morning to go to this job, so I can do mornings, but I function better at night and afternoons, evenings, but always been a night person. Yeah. I'm also really excited about starting work at the New York Renaissance Fair. We're starting rehearsals at the end of this month, definitely, and after doing that, we do a couple months of shows on the weekends, and then I work at Forest of Fear, which will be really cool. And maybe while I'm at Forest of Fear, I'll try to do some special effects makeup tutorials while I'm there. The green room has a much better setup than this, so I think that would actually work out a lot better, especially if I can get my hands on a tripod. And I also would love to do some Let's Plays in the future, but I need to get the proper technology to do that first. Actually, if anyone has any suggestions of equipment, of any kind for Let's Play captures, tripods, anything that might be able to help, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'll try to look through them at some point, when I have a chance, which I'll find some free time here and there, so I'll make it work. I promise. Oh, one more thing. I actually have a couple of really cool ideas for videos coming up in the future, so when that's a thing, I will totally post about it and all that jazz. I'm really pumped about at least one of these things, so I'm really excited to see how this goes. But for now, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you liked it, my name is Laura, and I am Dat Aspie. If you didn't like this, I'm Jacksepticeye. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!